What's going on, Theology fam? It is your girl Maya Wilson here, and I'm here with a very beautiful. You see the mug already. She already came. She came here ready to go. Could you please introduce yourself to the Theology audience?
What's up, Theology fam? I am Symone Gerren, mama, therapist, believer, all the things. That's me.
Yes, she is absolutely beautiful. Simone and I met through a mutual friend, Gloria. Hi, Gloria, if you're listening.
Hey,
And
girl.
we linked together, and ever since then, I feel like we were kind of crossing paths when you were pregnant with your son, and I was pregnant with my second daughter. And we've just kind of been overlapping, and it's just an honor to have you on the pod today. So when this episode comes out, it will be May, and May is Mental Health Month. So a lot of people will be focusing on that. There'll be a lot of conversations around it. I know that you and we've both gone back and forth with the motherhood thing, and motherhood is one of those things that's going to make you think about your mental health.
Uh-huh. It is. It is.
Um,
It is.
what are, in your perspective, in your therapist journey and in your practice, what do you feel like is some of the most common like mental health struggles that kind of maybe go unseen or unspoken when it comes to not even just motherhood, but parenthood in general?
Oh my goodness. Common struggles. I hear a lot of the mamas that I serve just battling with this consistent sense of overwhelm. And
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of women just expect that that's what motherhood is supposed to look like. Like, oh, I guess that's just a part of the journey. Like, that's just what I
Mm-hmm.
signed up for. It's just going to be a little heavy for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have to remind ourselves like it doesn't have to be that heavy. And so
Mm-hmm.
I do see like a lot of shock or a lot of surprise around like, oh, I don't got to do it that way. I'm like, no, girl, you can put that down. You don't got to do it
Yeah.
that way. And I would say the other one for parenthood is like sometimes people forget about the dads. Like, yes, the
Mm,
mamas carry the baby. We carry like the physiological load, the mental load, the hormonal load, but there is a provider load, a presence load, a support load, a helpless load, feeling like they can't help.
mm,
The dads be going through it too, and all of that like comes together to like be a strain on the household. And so
mm.
I think those are probably two of the biggest surprise things that people tend to forget about or just go overlooked as we go through this thing called life.
Yeah. Okay, let's tap in on the dads real quick
Okay.
because I always tell my dad, he's like, dang, I want some prenatal and postnatal some prenatal and postnatal care. But I think I want to speak to that because I feel like there is a space online, and I know you've probably seen the foolishness too, that is appealing to that gap that a lot of our fathers have where they feel helpless. But instead of meeting with like some genuine like support, they're met with a lot of toxic masculinity.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And some advice is not necessarily helpful and most likely is damaging not only to them but also their household. How would you say and encourage not dads and also just people in general, like how to discern? Because there's a lot of therapists. You see, people
Yes,
listening don't see my
I'm a
air quotes.
therapist.
A
Yes,
lot of
heavy on the
therapists
quote.
online giving quote unquote mental health advice that is not necessarily sound, but it does acknowledge the wounds and the struggles that people are having. So, from your perspective, what is one of the ways that we could kind of discern, like, okay, wait a minute now?
Get off social media.
Period.
Like it's that simple.
Yeah.
I would say that like any of one of my professional colleagues that are out here licensed, been doing this work, are not offering therapy online. Period.
Mm,
So they may be offering opinions, they may be offering education, but they are not offering therapy. And therapy is a unique tool. It is one that's made for you after someone spends some time with you, gets to know you a little bit, does an assessment about you, hears about your history, all the
mm,
things you're carrying, and then they give you a response. Then they can help you see what you want to do. When you're scrolling on that social media on that page, that person does not know you. They recorded
mm,
that. They still will never meet you after they posted that. Like all of those things cannot be attributed to your direct situation. And so that's my biggest advice. Stay about these folks platforms trying to be healed. Get yourself a real therapist, find yourself the right match, get you in a space where you can have those vulnerable conversations, because the public, the social media platforms, that's not the forum.
amen and amen. Okay, so let's go on the accessibility tip though, because I do think one of the ways that people get sucked into the online kind of pop psychology kind of thing. I was talking to
Yeah.
another guest about that. It's because it is accessible. I mean, you just got to thumb through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like maybe a lot of people, and this is just in general with our medical system, there is an accessibility gap for a
Issue.
lot
Yeah.
of folks. And maybe even just some overwhelm of like where to start. Like, who am I supposed to look for? What are like the red flags, green flags when looking for a therapist? So if somebody's like, okay, yeah, I do need to do that, like, what are those kind of like on ramps or things they need to be looking for to be like, okay, I want my journey to be successful, but I don't really know where to start?
Wow. Okay, that is a great question. And I'm coming off of having a consult with someone earlier today, and I'm always impressed when someone gets on my phone and is asking me questions. Don't
Mm,
assume that the clinician that you're talking to is the clinician for you. Think
mm,
of a match as like a match, right? Like come to that consult, come to that appointment and ask the questions. I've had people ask me, okay, are you a mother? Like, and maybe that's important to them, maybe it's not, but they bring to me what's important to them to see if I'm a match for them. And I'm
mm,
always happy to not be a match because I do think finding the right clinician is the first step to kind of like long lasting substantial change and having some space to be able to do some real work and real healing.
mm,
Um, but even if you don't even know where to start to even find the people to ask the questions, there are public forums. Psychology Today is one of them. It is a list of a lot of clinicians. And just like you can thumb through those pages on Instagram, you can thumb through those pages on Psychology Today.
yeah.
You can create those filters. You can find if you want a certain therapist with a certain practice or a certain therapist that has a certain cultural understanding. People put their expertise out there. And then when you make that consultation call, when you have that call, ask those questions and say, hey, I'm looking for this. Like, build your profile of a therapist and then go shopping. Like, truly go shopping.
That's good. That's good. I love that. Well, I just started going back to my therapist in the last few weeks because life is lifing.
As it
It's
does.
good, but it's like, all right, I need to talk to somebody about my life. I was meeting with her when I was struggling with my postpartum depression, and it got a lot better, thankfully for her through her support and just my support system and village, and it got a lot better. And then now I'm like, okay, I need to go back to somebody and just talk. Can you talk even about just the idea of like, especially with our people, our beloved Black people, we have sometimes a shame around psychological help or needing to go talk to that lady because
Mm-hmm.
there is maybe like a I don't know why we feel like this, but we feel like there's a badge of honor for being able to say you don't need
It's a
nobody
struggle
help.
badge of honor. Like we have self-awarded ourselves with the badge of
Yeah.
struggling through life and for whatever reason decided that that was the honor we should all earn.
Yeah, because listen, I don't want the award. I
I
don't
You
need
can keep
it.
it. It's a trophy I don't need. I
Exactly.
don't want it.
Exactly. Telling somebody that I was like, yeah, I'm going back to the therapist. They're like, are you okay? I was like, I am, but I would actually like to remain okay. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
going back. But could you maybe even talk about maybe some of the trepidations and how you've maybe even seen some of your clientele overcome the fear of like admitting like, hey, I'm not okay. Like I need some support here.
Wow. So I would say a couple of things. One around just like the comfortability of joining the space to like even be open to care, open to
Mm,
connecting with somebody. I always tell people like you don't have to have anything wrong with you to go to therapy. If
mm,
for no other benefit to have a space where you don't have to be guarded, where you don't have to be politically correct, where you don't have to worry about like all of our conversations are two-way conversations. We say things, even when we talk to our friends, we say things and we
mm,
say, oh, Maya, things are a lot of heavy, but I'm thoughtful. I don't want to dump on Maya. So like, I don't want to tell you too much. And maybe that's what I need in that moment. In therapy, you don't have to be thoughtful like that. It's your
mm,
space. Like you can
mm,
be free, you can be freeing. And so if for no other reason, I think it is a freeing chamber to just get it out. So if you do just need to get it out and you don't have a space to do so, you can do that. But when you're doing that with somebody that is qualified and licensed to help you organize those thoughts. Like
mm,
it's an opportunity for you to not only just get it out, but then to process it, to think about it, to move through it, to get past it, to even take something with you so you can do that independently on your next go round. Uh,
mm.
it's for you. right? Like it's for you. It's and
Mm,
that's the biggest encouragement I would try to get people to realize is that it's not for anybody else who has so many opinions. Like it's for you. If
mm.
you had a cold, would you like not go get that tissue to blow your nose because everybody else says we run around here with runny noses? Like, no, you're gonna go blow your nose. Like you aren't gonna walk around with that snot on your face. So like don't
Yeah.
walk around with that heavy heart, with that burden, with that frustration. Like
Mm,
we will treat any other symptom except for our mood or our like
mm,
exhaustion or our anxiety without hesitation. But
mm,
this is all of those things are deeply affecting how you walk through life, just like that stuffy nose, that sore throat, or that aching knee. Like it's all
mm.
affecting how you show up every day. So you should also address those things too.
Yes. That, come on now. That's a word on today. That is a word. And I love what you said, like something doesn't necessarily need to be wrong. Because even in my first session, Simone, I was like, yeah, I'm doing good. Then she started asking questions. I was like, you know what?
On second thought, maybe I'm not.
Like, wait a minute. I'm holding some unforgiveness. Why did you even bring that up? Like, but like how you just said, like how, especially when you have children, I mean, you kind of got to put on the mommy
Hmm.
face. Like there's some days you wake up, it's like, I am so tired. I don't know if I could do this today. And yet we do.
And
We
yet we
just
do.
have to push
And
through
yet
and
we
do.
do.
So I do think like, and that is a point to where we have to love our children to be able to push through some of those things, but also be able to recognize like, okay, I need to slow down. So like
Mhm.
when you said at the beginning, the overwhelm, there are overwhelming seasons of life, right?
Yep, yep,
Life,
yep.
like I said earlier, life be life. And how does someone maybe even think about like, is this typical just busyness,
Mhm.
life, rhythms, all those that, and then like, oh no, like, no, this is actually like this is crossed over into like you're not functioning in a good way. Like, are there kind of warning signs before somebody gets to the burnout place? Like, what would you say to somebody who's like, I think I'm okay, but now I'm wondering if I'm not.
In my sessions, I always refer to this concept of just kind of like an alarm system, like a dashboard, right? A
Mm,
personal dashboard. And I think the best way to discern if this is just a busy day or if I'm not handling this season well is to take a look at that dashboard.
mm,
Before your car stops running, the tire pressure light come on. Before you run out of gas, the gas light comes on.
mm,
Before your engine is smoking and just not working, there's a check engine light that comes on. And I think that we all have those personally. And so
mm,
I work through trying to figure out what are those alarm systems? What are those lights that go off? And for some people, it could be, oh, I'm not sleeping anymore. You know what? I used to get 8 hours of sleep, girl. I haven't slept in days.
mm,
That's an alarm system, right? Like, well, why aren't you sleeping when you traditionally are sleeping fine? Now all of a sudden we're not sleeping fine anymore. Okay, our sleep alarm is going off.
mm,
Or people aren't taking care of themselves as they used to. And I mean even some of the basic habits, right? Like it start with we skip the skincare routine for one day and now it's been a month since I picked up anything to wash my face. Okay, well maybe
mm,
we aren't handling this season together. And so I think it's things like that. When you get down to awareness and you can take a second to pause and realize, okay, I'm not operating how I usually do. That's typically some sort of alarm system is going off. And if you
mm,
don't know what your individual alarms are at all, just being able to know when you're off, like most people can articulate, like, I just felt off, right? And we get into the work and we start defining what felt off looks like. Most
mm,
people have that moment. That's like most people's red or yellow flag, like, oh, I'm just not doing too great. Just pause and take a quick inventory. Do you have a dashboard? How are you sleeping? How are you eating? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you communicating with others? Have you isolated yourself? How's your mood felt? Like just a small little examination of yourself. And if those indicators start lighting up, then maybe you should probably reach out and make a phone call.
amen. I love it. Girl, come on now. I feel like one of the things that I was talking to another guest about is in the pop psychology space that I think it started off helpful. I will say a lot of the therapy speak, it was good at first. As time has gone on, it's
Mhm.
been a little crazy. And I want to hear from your viewpoint as a clinician, just maybe some of the habits that you see either in your practice or even just when you're online of just people taking certain phrases out of context.
You triggered me. You triggered me. I'm gonna let you finish. You have that physiological response. I said, "Oh, there it is." Okay.
Taking some of the language out of because I was talking to another guest. I was like, and she had me cracking up. She was like, everybody can't be the heel prize. Everybody can't be it. Everybody can't be. So, in your mind, just some of those phrases and how it's harmful to take those things out of context and not really know what they mean.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Come
Um,
on today, Symone.
okay. I would say, oh, we're not gonna make this personal. The self-diagnosing,
Mm,
the external diagnosing, right? I think there was like this wave of popularity where we needed to learn. We needed the psychoeducation. We needed to be aware of what things were that we probably thought as a culture, as a person, as a people, were just regular. And
mm,
then we have slid like on the other extreme. And now every person who is not kind is a narcissist. That's not true, right? Like
mm,
every person who had a tough day or is overwhelmed or is unorganized now is neurodivergent. Also, not true, right? Like, there is so much that goes into identifying what people experience through life, and it's more than just one or two criteria that you can relate to. You
mm,
maybe can relate to having a trouble focusing, but perhaps that's not your like green light to now you currently are dealing with some sort of mental health challenge. And I that eats me up inside because it tends to let people like start to identify themselves. Now they've looked at your experience and it's like, oh, that happens to me too, I must have that. and
mm,
and they go through life thinking that without affirming that, without confirming that, without talking to someone that could truly actually clarify or recorrect or get you support you might actually need, because we took the advice of somebody in that 40-second video and now we think that we are experiencing exactly what they are experiencing.
mm,
You might not be. You might, but you also might not be.
mm, mm. What do you think is okay? I think I have an answer, but I what is the appeal towards the quick diagnosis? I mean, like it's
Mm,
accessible. You can go talk to a licensed physician. What is the hesitancy like to like if you really think that you are struggling with a mental health challenge, wouldn't you want the support of like a physician? Like what's that trepidation in like actually going to get the confirmation or the redirection, you think?
Um, I think sometimes when people are in a challenging season, we seek that confirmation and that validation, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever is available feeds that need. And so there are times where people reach out to a clinician and it's like on a high extreme level, right? Like it's on the day you had a rough day, so you needed to talk to somebody now. Then 2 3 days later, oh, I got through that moment. And so it's the process that I think can deter people from getting connected to services, because therapy happens during business hours and availability and things like that nature, versus
Mm,
social media happens like on your own terms when you need it. It's right there.
yeah.
There is no waiting room, there is no patient room, there is no waiting list, there is no, oh, do you have availability on this day? It's right there. Why
Mm,
would I call somebody else? I didn't figure that out on my own. I'm pretty assured right here.
listen.
She seems like she gets me. I get it. I think I'm good. And so I do think
Mm,
that the the red tape of access of it all is definitely deterring people from getting connected to care, whether even people have coverage, right? Or if they have the funds. Like there's so many barriers to care that I think continue to unfortunately reinforce that cycle.
yeah, that's so, oof, Lord, help us, Jesus. We need those to be torn down in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Um, the narcissist thing and the external diagnosis. I have a theory about that
Oh, let me hear
because
it.
if everybody else is the problem, you can never be. If everybody else is the problem, you can never be. And it's too many days in a year for you not to be the problem, at least some of them days. At least some of them. At
And
least some.
it's too many people that are always the problem for you not to have no sort of contribution.
Hello. Hello. And
Every friendship, every relationship, every man you've met, every
listen,
woman you've met.
It's something called the common denominator, babes. So I do think, on a serious note, that external diagnosis, I do think the way that social media has talked about it, it just creates people who are very individualist. And I worry about that because we're created to be connected to the Lord, but we're also created to be with each other. Like
Connect.
we're
People
supposed
need
to be,
people.
yes, we need people. We need people who are interconnected. And even though my therapist was really great in my journey towards my healing with PPD, like I needed my support system. I needed people around me.
Absolutely.
And I needed other moms to be like, yeah, I made it through this. But if I'm constantly kind of like pointing the finger to like, oh, this person is acting this way, so they must be XYZ. This person said something I didn't like, so obviously they are da 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 da. I just wonder, how do you feel like community comes into play when it comes to mental health, and like how do we
Mhm.
kind of reframe like the way that we see mental health so we're not always like identifying people by their struggles, but seeing like, hey, we're all struggling and we need each other. Not like you're this and I don't want to have community with you, but understanding like, no, we need each other, we're interconnected.
I want to highlight like community, right? Like
Mm,
not proximity or just access, but
mm,
community. Because I think that's very different. I think some people hop online and think that they found community, right? Like, and some people do successfully build community online, but there's something about continued exposure to the same group of people that makes community different than just access or visibility, right?
mm,
And so I think that's one thing. Like some people are like dis. What's the word I'm looking for? I think some don't know if they have community or not. They confuse the sense of
mm,
community. And then you find yourselves like sharing and being vulnerable with something that's not actually community. And I think social media has tied down, like teared down what community looks like.
mm,
The second part is in access and in tandem to care like it's 100% vital. Like
mm,
100% vital. Even your clinician, your therapist, your doctor, like you only see those people but so often. Like what
mm,
happens when you leave their office? What happens when we shut down this Zoom call? Who helps hold you accountable? Who helps hold you in those quiet moments when you can't get on that phone call? Like
mm,
you need people. Like I was trained that that's a part of your safety plan, right? Like who can you call? If you can't reach me, who else can you call? I make people identify who's on your list. Okay,
mm,
well, if we don't have people on your list, how close are you to your neighbor? Like there may be people that you
mm,
aren't even thinking about that could be a part of your community depending on what your situation is. But I think it's necessary. Like we were not intended to do this life by ourselves. I think you need a space where you could be vulnerable. You need a space where you could be seen. You need a space where you can feel like valuable and connected to. And I would also say community is a two-way street, right? Like I have a big village, but I'm a big villager. I
mm,
pour out to my village. And so when I receive back, it's because I'm pouring in. And so it's another indicator. If it's not a two-way street, then it may not be a community.
That's good. She's a therapist, but she's also a deaconess, y'all. Y'all heard her preaching on today.
Y'all know
Listen,
I am a pastor's kid, grandchild, whatever that is. My
listen,
grandmother. I come from a long line of
listen. The
the
oil
men.
is generational.
It's
Period.
it's in there.
Sis, that was so good. Okay. I want to kind of wrap up our time. But just as a kind of maybe like encouragement to somebody who is maybe a mom or just a person listening in general that has maybe had just kind of just this thinking about, I really probably should be thinking about my mental health. It's been something that I've been putting off. And life is continuing to get busier, harder, whatever it may be. What would be your just kind of ending encouragement to them, who's the person who's like, I've actually been thinking about this, and then I turn this podcast on and y'all are talking about this? What would be your encouragement to them?
Ah man, honestly, like I just heard God whisper something to me. My mother-in-law always tells me to be the heart of our home. That has
Mm,
been the challenge she has given me since I like became a wife and becoming a mom. I didn't like I understand it in a different way.
Mm,
And now I'm also thinking around like just like the instruction of like how important it is to guard your heart, right? So like if you are the heart of the home and you are
mm,
set out to be guarding your heart, you have to guard yourself. You have to prepare yourself. You have to give yourself
mm.
the resources to be the heart of the home, right? Like your home is only as good as you are. Like your children are
Yeah.
only as healthy as you are. Your marriage is only as healthy as you are. You have to be a part of your care, right?
Mm,
You have to be nurturing yourself the way you are nurturing other people. And it is not like it's not a luxury, right? Like your children wake up every morning and they expect mama to take care of them. Like you should expect yourself to take care of you, right? Like it's a
mm.
to look after our children. It's a non-negotiable to look after and meet their needs. It is also your non-negotiable. If for no other reason you want to do well by them, do well by you is doing well by them, right? Like
Yes.
it is non-negotiable. Take care of
Mm,
yourself, mama. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. That would be my encouragement is if you can't see how it benefits you, see how it'll benefit your children to take care of yourself.
that's so good. Where can the people find you, ma'am? Go ahead and plug the IG, the TikTok, all the things.
All the things.
This is a licensed clinician that you can follow, not some rando, okay?
This that is true. You can find me. It's simple. My name is at Symone Gerren. You can book a consultation with me at www.symonegerren.com. If I am not your fit, I have a beautiful network of colleagues that have expertise and different access. Like I can connect you to someone that is really going to serve you. I would love to hear about your journey, help you walk alongside it, but we could get the work done, mama. You deserve to be nurtured too.
I love it. Thank you so much, sis, for coming on the podcast. We really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
you.
me.